Hi, and welcome to Salesforce's Release Readiness Live for Spring 16. Thanks for joining us, whether you found us at the beginning of your day, the end of it, or anything in between. I'm Mike Torres, and it's my pleasure to be here again as we take a look into some of the latest features and developments that our Community Cloud has to offer. Now, if this is your first time joining us for Release Readiness Live, thanks for tuning in. Now, you may have already read the release notes on Spring 16, but the purpose of today's session is to take those notes and bring them to life with live conversations and demos from the product team responsible for our latest innovations. Now, we are live here in Salesforce Studio, so in addition to the live discussions and demos, we will get some questions from you, our customers. And we'll get introduced to the product team in just a minute, but before we get to meet the people we're going to be asking the questions of, let's find out how we're going to be asking them questions. Now, to explain that and more, we have the Salesforce Success Community's own Sam Acuff. Hey, Sam.
Well, Mike, thank you very much. So I'm already actually getting some tweets out there with our hashtag. So make sure that you use Salesforce Live. That's the easy hashtag for you to use on Twitter or in the release community. We want to make sure that we take your questions. I'll take them live, and I want to thank Ruben for already sending a tweet out there. And if we don't get to, if we don't get to it live, we have a no question left behind policy. So we'll be going through those questions, making sure that you get answers. So stay involved, use Twitter. Hashtag is Salesforce Live. And we also want to talk to you a little bit about the community. So your release readiness and feature adoption community that you should be seeing on the screen in just a minute is your place for you to ask questions after this session. So you can continue to be involved with Release Readiness Live by just going over to the community. And Mike, I'm going to send it back to you.
Thanks, Sam. Now, before we hand things over to the experts, there are just some final logistical points that we do need to cover. Now, as we've mentioned, everything we're discussing in this session is going to be pertinent to our Community Cloud. Now, you can join us later today for our session on the Service Cloud with the Sales and App Cloud rounding out our offerings tomorrow. However, if you miss any of our broadcasts, you can find both long-form and bite-sized recordings over at www.salesforce.com/release-readiness. And as a final item, we are going to be looking at our product roadmap today. So in order to properly set our expectations there, we need to review Salesforce's forward-looking statement slide. Now, if you're unfamiliar with this slide, what it urges Salesforce customers to do is to base any purchasing decisions only on current functionality at the time of purchase. Simple as that. Now, without any further ado, I'd like to pass things over to Adrienne to get introduced to our experts.
Hi, everybody. My name is Adrienne Martinson. I am the product manager on the Community Cloud, focused on Chatter. It's my true pleasure to be here today.
And hi, everybody. My name is Arnab Bose. I'm the director of product for the Chatter feed, and which is also used very heavily in every one of our Community Cloud products. Really excited to show you our demos.
Hi, everybody. My name is Eric Lerner, and I am a director of product management on our Communities product. And I've been here for about 3 months, so this is my very first Release Readiness webinar. It's great to be here.
And I'm David Goldbrunner, also a director of product management. I own the groups and profiles features, and I'm passionate about building out collaboration features, so I'm very happy to be here.
Thanks.
Great. So Salesforce Community Cloud really empowers all businesses at all different sizes to connect their partners, customers, employees, and all the business process. As you may know of, Community Cloud contains communities, chatter, and files. So the Community Cloud Spring 16 is an amazing new release. The reason I see that because we have all the innovative new features. When we work on all those features, there are two clear goals that we have. Number one, we're trying to deliver a rich and engaging end user experience. And number two, we're trying to make all the community managers' lives much easier. Now, let's just look into the details of all the features. Arnab, do you want to walk through some Chatter new features?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Adrienne. So I'll just call out a couple of things on the slide. The first thing is we've got rich text posting with multi-file attachment support for our community templates. This is new for Spring 16. So not only can you go ahead and format your posts with bold, italics, underline, etc., you can also upload up to 5 files along with that particular question. We really think this is going to help our customers get the right level of engagement in their communities going forward. The second thing I want to call out is the compact Q&A feed for topics, discussions, and groups. We love our existing chatter feed. It's great for conversations. But the compact feed really takes that concept and enhances it in a way where you can see more posts in a single page. This is really useful in scenarios where you want to create a community where customers can go ahead and take a look at what questions have been asked, try to find which questions have best answers, and try to find which questions have the most engagement in the form of likes and comments. I'm going to hand off to Eric to talk a bit about the community's features on this slide.
Thanks, Arnab. That's some really exciting things for our end users. I'm going to talk about a couple of things that we've spent a lot of time and energy on that are going to improve the lives of our community managers. So if you look at that fourth item on this slide, that is Community Builder. And what we've done there is quite a few things, but in particular, I'm going to talk about some new page layouts we're delivering in our Community Builder. So we have three great templates historically, or within Nepili rather. We have three great page layouts, which is a good start, but we've bumped that up and we now have 8 different preset layouts that you can use as you're building templates. But what's really interesting is not just the great templates and layouts that we're delivering, it's the fact that we've introduced the ability to propagate custom layouts. So if you're a partner and you have a page layout that you like and you want your community managers and your customers to use that, you can use that custom layout functionality to do that. If you're a community manager and you have particular page layouts you want to use, you can share those with other folks in your organization and use those custom layouts. So that's one big area of improvement. The other area of improvement, which I'm going to talk about, is the second last item on this slide, which is topic recommendations and topic hierarchy support. And both of these have been huge community manager asks of us. Topic recommendations, the idea is Community Cloud keeps an eye on what you've been liking and what you've been giving the thumbs up to. And based on that, it recommends topics to you and to your end users. The second piece is topic hierarchy. So starting at the highest level, you can now not just have a topic, but a subtopic, and even take that down to a third level. So a real world example, your topic might be sports, your subtopic might be soccer, and then your third level subtopic might be the Arsenal Football Club. So you now have the ability to have 3-level hierarchy in your topics, and that's been, as I mentioned, a huge ask of our customers. With that, I'm going to hand it off to Mr. Goldbrenner to talk more.
Thanks, Eric. So I'm going to talk about the second box there on the slide. And since I'm the product owner for Groups and Profiles, I'm very excited to say that Chatter groups are now available in community templates. And we're going to show you that. And not only are they available, but they're completely customizable. Remember, really every page in our template-based communities is customizable just by dragging and dropping components, and the same is true for groups. So we're going to take a look at that. This is one of our key collaborative features. It really ties your community together and enhances and leverages the value of all the other information in your community. Now, in addition to that, it's not listed there, but profiles were in communities. They are still there, but they have been greatly enhanced. So the design is much nicer, and they are also now completely customizable. In other words, they're constructed of separate components, which you can move around and create your own experience. So very excited about both of those. And with that, I'm going to pass it back to Adrian, who's going to change this slide. And let's talk a bit about the demo. So what we're going to do is all of these great features that we just showed you, we're going to illustrate them by doing an end-to-end demo, which is going to be done in 4 vignettes or episodes. Right, in the first, we're going to start as an end user of the community. Right, this is your customer, person who comes to the community and needs support. Right, they need help. They need to connect with other people. Right, so that's the personalized experience. And we're going to demonstrate a bunch of new features which are going to make the experience better for that user. Right. Then we're going to switch over and we're going to work inside the company as employees, right, using the new Lightning experience. And you're going to see how we can collaborate internally in order to, as our end goal, again, support that customer. Then we're going to switch and we're going to take a look at managing the community. The community that customer visits, it needs to be maintained, it needs to be grown, it needs to be healthy and vibrant. We're going to see how this product makes it really easy for you to do that using our community management console. And finally, how is the whole thing built? How is that whole community put together? We're going to show you that by demonstrating the community builder, where you can, as I mentioned before, create pages just by dragging and dropping components. Now, who are going to be our actors in this demo? Well, to keep things simple, they're really only going to be two. There's going to be Miguel. He's our community member, and he's going to be featured in the first vignette. And we're going to see his experience as he comes to the community to get support with an issue he's having. He grows coffee, and he provides it to our company. We're Capricorn Coffee. We distribute this gourmet coffee brand. And he is one of our growers and a valuable member of our community who needs support. And then our other actor is Eric Ware, who wears a lot of hats. He's really our admin, our community manager. He's an employee of Capricorn. And he's going to be working throughout the last 3 vignettes to build and manage the community. So hopefully that gives you guys a overview of what you're going to be seeing. And so now we're going to start with that first vignette, which is the personalized experience from Miguel's point of view.
All right, well, thank you, David, for giving us the background. So let's just go to the first vignette. As David mentioned, the first vignette gonna be the personalized experience. And I will be Miguel next. So in this vignette, the features we're gonna highlight include the rich text that we're gonna show us how you can use rich text component to create a video. And also, we're gonna show how Miguel can create a case with just creating a question post. And also how he'll be direct to the topic by the recommendation that we create in the community. And also other features such like the chatter groups and profiles, as David just mentioned, we're very excited about those features. And we're also going to showcase how powerful the new compact feed can actually bring the value to our community users. And last but not least, we're going to talk about the multi-file attachment, which is a feature that user has been asking for a long time. So let's just switch to the demo. So a little bit background. As David just talked about, Miguel is a coffee grower, and he provides the coffee primary to the Capricorn Coffee. He has a daily routine. Every morning, he will go to the coffee farm to check on his coffee plants. This morning, he sees some yellow spots on some of the coffee leaves. And based on his knowledge, he knows it's called coffee rust. He wants to combat with this problem, but he knows Capricorn Coffee has a very strict policy about the sustainabilities and the pest control. So he wants to go to the community where he actually learn, collaborate with other coffee growers and the community manager. So here is the community that Miguel absolutely loves. And once he logs in, the first thing he sees is a beautiful video at the very top to welcome him. He has never seen this before. This is created by the rich text component in this new release. So without a single line of code, community managers can drag and drop this component on this page, and you're gonna have this beautiful video. Also, for rich text component, you can have a rich text and URLs and the videos. So we see 2016 spring release is amazing release. And we really focus on to bring a rich and engaging community user experience to the table. So besides the rich text components, we also added topics system by enhancing, by adding the topic hierarchy that Eric just talked about. We allow the community user to add the subtopic up to 3 levels. We also introduce the groups, which is such important feature within the community, as we provide a platform for community users to learn, share, and collaborate. Also, when Miguel's scrolling down, he sees this recommendation. We also added the channels for the recommendation to bring the community managers the maximum flexibility to recommend, like document how to complete your profiles, topics, and groups. So when Miguel kept checking out, he actually found out all the active users on the community. He sees his name among all the user lists. He's very proud of himself and very excited about it too. Keeps going down, he sees all the articles being recommended in the article. He'll say, oh, great, I'll check out those articles soon too, and also the blog post. So because Miguel has a very clear goal to check on the solutions and best approach to combat the leaf rust, He wants to check on the discussion so to see if anybody has talked about this. It comes to the discussion. He sees this new scannable feed post, which he says he has never seen before.
This is really
called,
nice. This just makes the feed so easy to consume.
Absolutely, yeah. So thank you, David. This feature is called a compact feed. So when Miguel's going down, and he can see not only the subject of each single feed post, he can also see the topic and who actually create the post and when it was created. Most importantly, he can see the important signals he normally cares about most, including likes and how many comments, and the green button is indicator this particular feed post has the best answer. So the first one caught his eye. Another coffee rust attack seems like similar problem. Let him to check the details of this feed post. Once he comes to the detail of the feed post page, he sees this beautiful rich text content, which he has never seen before, and keeps going down. He sees multi-attachment. So Maria was able to create a post that was multi-attachment. And this part, he can see the best answer that provided by Eric Ware. He went through all this. It's great information, but he already have the very basic understanding about the leaf rust. And what he cares about is the sustainability. And guess what? There's a topic suggests him to check on the sustainability about the coffee growing. So he wants to check it out. Once he click on this recommendation, it takes him to the topic page. And once he comes to this page, he sees the subtopic, which we also call the topic hierarchy. It contains the 3 subtopics under sustainability: methods, economics, and policy. So he will check all the discussions. It's great, it's very informative. But he didn't really find the answer that he's looking for about sustainability. So he wants to just take advantage of the ask a question feature that he always been using to ask a question. So he'll ask pest control for coffee rust.
And so, Adrienne, are we taking a look at a new updated question publisher here? Are you gonna show off
Absolutely.
some of the,
Thank you,
Yeah.
Arnab. Yeah,
am I
so
stealing your thunder a little bit?
yeah, so once he logs in, and he's very excited to notice the rich text, which he never seen before. And that's something he has been hoping for a long time. Why is that? Let's just demonstrate why is it. So in this feed post, he can highlight the problems, and he can also put an underline of the concerns that he really wants to pay attention. And even better, he can just put a number or bullet point of all the requirements he has. Thanks for the rich text, and he's able to really format and articulate his question very clearly. And guess what? It's not only that, he can also attach multi-attachments. So he actually took the picture of the rust leaf and to demonstrate the problem. It has those 5 beautiful pictures he liked to share with the community and to actually show the problems and let people help him.
So, Adrienne, is that file picker limited to just files on his local machine, or can that pick files from
It's a great question. You can actually also attach the document, including files, or even video.
in the same dialogue? That's great.
Yeah, in the same dialogue in one single post.
Now, I noticed also that you selected five attachments there.
Yes.
Is there any limit to how many we can include at a single time?
Yes, for this particular Spring 16 release, we have maximum 5, but we're working on it. In next release, we're going to bump this number up to 10.
All right, thanks.
Great question. Thank you, Mike. Great observation. Okay, so when Miguel asked this question, and once he sees the question posed, he says several things. Number one, he says a rich text, and he is really happy about the results. That is very clear. And also, look at all those 5 pictures that he took. It's very clearly just rendered in this the feed post.
That looks great. I mean, it's really just so clear what's going on there. I can just glance at it and see what his problem is.
Yes, yes, we're very proud about this feature. And the second thing is he also noticed there's a case is being created on behalf of him. So this is really the powerful rule engine at the back. When community configure the rules, and based on once the question posed really trigger the rule policy, it will on behalf of Miguel or anybody who create a post and to create a case and send it to the Service Cloud. It's really a powerful use case to illustrate the integration system of engagement and system of record
So
that
anytime-
Salesforce provide.
So anytime someone posts about Leaf Rust, a case is automatically created?
It depends on how the rule is being created. In this case, I believe Eric, who's the community manager, actually set the certain keywords in the subject line.
Right.
So because he wants to look into the Rust, the Leaf Rust.
The idea
But
here is that this topic is so important to us that
Yes.
we want to catch it the minute somebody posts about it. So instead of just letting it be a post that'll be answered by the community, which is also an option, we escalate that post to a case automatically so that our agents can handle it.
Yes, so he's very happy about the post itself and also the case is being created for him. But he noticed, very embarrassingly, he had a typo. So he wanted to see, I want to tweak this, but he said tweak, which doesn't make any sense. Instead of deleting the post and repost it, guess what? He can now edit the post. With a single click, he can easily fix this embarrassing typo, and he saves it. Problem is resolved. This is a new feature that our team really worked on to enable the editability for the feed post.
So not only is the feed post got like rich text formatting and multiple attachments, but it can also be edited afterwards.
Yes,
that's
exactly.
pretty awesome, and that's new to the community in Spring 16.
Yes, yes, thank you. So, and even better, he sees somebody already get back to him just in a short period of time, thanks to the power of the social. So Maria get back to him, said, please join the Sustainability Champions group. And also, Maria suggests him to reach out to Live Agent if he cannot find an answer within the group. So who is Maria? Miguel really appreciates Maria get back to him in such a timely manner, but he wants to see who Maria is. Once he comes to the profile page, in the newly designed profile page, Miguel can quickly learn that Maria lives on the beautiful Big Island, and just like him, she's very passionate about coffee. So at the right in the Know About section, it lists all the topics that the community members recognize Maria is known of, including the plant health or sustainability and Leaf Rust. This is so powerful because it's not only help Miguel to get to know Maria better, it also help Miguel to build the confidence to take the advice and suggestion from Maria.
Yeah, this is a concept that we in Chatter call social proof. We know from like looking at data that the user profile page is actually one of the most popularly visited pages within a community or even within an internal Chatter deployment. And so David and his team have been working really hard to go ahead and make sure that when you go to somebody's user profile, you know what they're knowledgeable about, what they've been endorsed for, what kind of badges they have, like they're a champion grower or something else, and who they follow. And this is a way by which, like, if you're in a community and you don't know the person, just going to that user's profile will help you figure out if this is really an expert you want to trust, or maybe they might be sending you in the wrong direction.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, thank you. So scrolling down, and not only that, Miguel can also see who Maria is following and who are the user following Maria's, and also what groups that Maria joined, which is very helpful because Miguel can also use as a reference, probably explore those groups in the future to learn more. He can also see the particular files that Maria posted in the past. Going through all the conversations and discussions on Maria's wall, he can see Maria's very active and interact with sustainability group and also ask questions. So he decided to give Maria a thumbs up for the sustainability and also follow Maria. So as Maria suggested to join the Sustainability Champions group, he wants to go to the group and checking and hoping that he can find the answer to combat with the leaf rust problem. So here, Miguel comes to the Sustainability Champions group. Once he comes to the group page, first thing he noticed, the group is a public group. So besides public group, we also provide private, unlisted, and broadcast group. The goal is really to provide the platform for users who share the similar interest and the goal and needs to actually collaborate, learn, and share. So
Adrian, I'm very happy to see this, and I want to point out, I think the two most important use cases for groups in customer-facing communities. The first is what I call a scoped forum. So, for example, if you have a topic that's kind of open, everyone can go and discuss there. But now, if you want to continue the conversation with a particular set of users, right, a group is a perfect container for that because you can create the group and add just the people or sets of people that you want to it. And then the other really good use case for groups in a customer-facing community is what I call affinity groups. So if you have power users or people who really want to discuss a particular topic amongst themselves, then you can create a group, add those folks, and dedicate it to that topic. So this is what I was saying earlier. Groups really helps leverage and enhance the conversation and the interaction that's going on inside the community.
Great, thank you, David. This is David's feature, and he has really done a great job. So let's just, so Miguel wants to join the group. Once he joins the group, he sees the manage notification. So what is this? It actually allows the member to choose how often you will receive a notification. So in this case, because Miguel sees the value of this group, he wants to choose to receive notification for every single post. And to the right, he also sees the group details in the rich text format for the information, descriptions. He also sees the owner is Eric Wer, who is a community manager for Copper & Coffee. He also sees the members and files belongs to this group. So just looking into the discussions that happen in the group, this particular feed post really caught Miguel's attention. This is talking about leaf rust is a known issue. And by the Eric Wer, the community manager of the Copper & Coffee, he also suggests the best approach, which is to use a biodynamic spray as the best organic alternative to fight the leaf rust. He's very excited, just in the group, as Maria suggested, find the answer. And in this post, he also see a YouTube link. And with this rich link preview, Miguel does not need to click on the URL to watch what it is. And he already knows it's actually about the coffee price rise at the fungus destroy was really talking about the leaf rust problem. So he's very satisfied with the new experience within the group, and because he was able to collaborate, to learn. And also, he remembers there's a case that created on behalf of him. And as long as he's very happy about he found the best approach, he also had the question and want to find out if there's any bulk discount that Copper & Coffee provides to all the coffee grounds to combat with the problem to get the biodynamic spray. So he comes to his profile. The reason we come here is we can see their feed and cases are listed on Miguel's profile, which make community users' life much easier. So here, Miguel comes to all the cases.
And Adrian, it's worth noting that you can also get to that case list from the top navigation under that support link.
Mm-hmm. That's certainly alternative. The doesn't seem like the Wi-Fi is. Let's see.
It's okay.
Let's try again.
But it's okay. I mean, as we're sort of looking at these things, what are some of the conveniences that our customers are going to gain as they're exposed to all the cases in a feed like we're about to show?
Yes. So as Eric suggested, we have an alternative. So when it comes to this new case.
And just to briefly answer your question there, Mike, I think where this is really interesting is And I know we say this over and over again, but it's important to really understand what we're saying. You have your system of engagement, which in this case is the community, is the chatter feed, and you have your system of record, which in this case is Salesforce. And part of what makes our community cloud special is the way we bring those two things together so that a case which actually lives in the system of record can surface in that community. And Adrian's going to show you a little more about what that looks like.
Thank you, Eric. So now we're at the case detail page to show the case that the system actually created for Miguel. And he sees this email that automatically sent to him once the case has been created. And also he sees the status of the case is still new. He also found the chat now, which is a live agent. As Maria suggested, he wants to reach out to the live agent to ask for the bulk discount for the biodynamic spray. So let's see how the experience of live agent will be.
And that live agent, that's tied to the Salesforce backend system of record as well, is it not?
Yes. So in this window, somebody already get back to Miguel, and Miguel is so happy because the agent actually knows his name. So he said, "Hi, I would like to get bulk discount for biodynamic spray."
Awesome, and I'm playing the role of Eric right now and being the live agent and responding. So I'm going to say that's a great question. Let me check with my product team and get back to you. So I'm actually in the live agent console as the internal support agent. When I hit send, the chat response comes through. And so again, this shows kind of the deep integration that we have between our community cloud and our other products like Service Cloud. It's part of being built on the Salesforce platform that allows us to do this. Nobody else can actually go ahead and have this kind of integration with our with our systems of record like Service Cloud and Sales Cloud like we can.
Yes. So this is actually end of the VNet. First, we actually, on behalf of Miguel, we walked through the entire community experience. He was able to search and ask questions, connect with other community members, find the answer in the group, and also reach out to the live agent for some questions that he didn't really want to ask in public. So this is a great experience. And now I'll hand over to Arnab to talk about give more colors of the highlight of the Lightning experience, also a little bit more about how the community manager really works.
Sounds good. Thanks, Adrian. So what I'll do is I'll just pick up a little bit from where the demo left off and then talk a little bit about the overview of what I'll cover in my slides. So maybe if you can stay on my machine, I just want to show folks a little bit where the demo left off, which is you're looking at the live agent console from the point of view of Eric Ware, who's the internal support rep. This is part of our service console. Right on the left is the chat window where I was engaging with Miguel in real time. I also get all the context about Miguel, the customer, in the same page. So as soon as I accept his chat request, his contact comes up. I know his name, I know his account number, I know what existing cases he has open or we've closed in the past. So there's all the context I need to go ahead and respond quickly and effectively to this person who's actually in this external community is available to me right at my fingertips.
This is amazing. That's why you know Miguel's name. Then
Exactly.
you can be given more personal experience.
Exactly.
This is what we mean by that seamless integration between the system of engagement, which is the community where your users are interacting and engaging, and the system of record, which holds your business data, which in this case is a customer case. And that's really unique. You don't have to put two systems together. It's just there in Salesforce.
And it's worth understanding, we're using customer in the general sense. In Miguel's case, he's actually a partner. He's part of the supply chain and
Right,
the
good point.
distribution channel.
Yep.
So it's worth understanding that where your business data lives may be tied to customers or other parts of the way you run your business.
Exactly. Thanks,
Partners,
Eric.
suppliers, et cetera.
Yep. Okay, so what we'll do now is switch over to the slides, and we can switch to the slide for Vignette 2. Awesome. Great. So in Vignette 2, what I'm going to do is I'll highlight a little bit about the Lightning experience to showcase how Eric, the internal support rep, is going to actually collaborate with his team members using Chatter and using groups to get an answer and get back to Miguel on the case. We've had the Lightning experience available for a couple of releases now, and Chatter is constantly being improved within it. In the Spring 16 release, we've got a couple of marquee features. The first one is the customizable banner photo for user profiles and groups that David's team's worked on. Again, sort of going back to the comment I made earlier, we want to make sure that when you go to a person's profile, whether it's in the internal Lightning experience or in a community, there's enough context about the person for you to really know who he or she is or what they're interested in. And having the ability to have a very visual banner photo is not only beautiful, it also sort of helps provide that additional context. It's something that we think is going to drive up engagement significantly. The second thing that's a big deal for us is we will now support Chatter-only licenses like Chatter Plus for the Lightning experience. We've had a couple of customers ask us about this around the winter release. So they should be happy to note that when Spring comes out, those Chatter-only users in their organization will have the ability to participate in Lightning just like their existing sales or service users. So I'll kind of pause over there and I'll just dive back into the demo because that's usually the more cool, fun part of the show.
Very excited about that, yes.
Yes, okay. So I'll switch back to my demo environment, and what I'm showing here right now is what we call Feed Home within the Lightning experience. So I just want to give folks a little bit of a harbor tour of what the feed and what Chatter looks like within Lightning. And what I'll do is I'll start by sort of covering the little icons over here on the top right-hand corner. The first thing is when you're in Lightning, you always know who you are, which, I mean, hopefully shouldn't be that big of a problem, but it sort of lets you know that you're logged in as Eric Ware and gives you a quick shortcut to your user profile. I'll show you the new user profile in a bit. And the second thing, which we're really excited about, is in-app notifications. So as people @mention you in Chatter or as they respond to you by commenting on your posts, you will receive in-app notifications and this bell icon will light up. You have the ability to kind of quickly glance through and check out a snippet of what they've said. So in this particular post, for example, Ann Weil, who's a product marketing person that Eric works with, has shared an updated pricing workbook with him and has also let him know that there's a discount matrix that the product marketing team is working on. So this is kind of interesting and pertinent to the question that Miguel asked him, and it's available to Eric right from this notification panel, which is accessible from any page within the Lightning experience.
It's amazing that you can see all the details in the notification as well.
Yes, exactly. So we were really excited about the fact that the snippet shows up. Now, this isn't new for the spring release. This has been available since winter, but we just wanted to highlight this again because these are some of the improvements that are in Lightning that are not available in our classic experience and kind of show the roadmap that we have for doubling down on making this the marquee Chatter experience going forward. The second thing I'll call out over here is as we kind of scroll through the feed, you'll notice that there are files posted in the feed. And one of these files, the Capricorn product roadmap, is actually a file from Box. So this is a new integration with our Files Connect product that is in pilot in Spring 16. So if you're interested or you're an existing Box customer and you're looking at ways to go ahead and bring those files closer to your actual business process, definitely reach out to your account team and find out how you can participate in the pilot. We're really excited about this.
This is our Files Connect product.
Yeah.
This is a new connector for our Files Connect product. We already support Google Drive and Microsoft SharePoint and OneDrive for Business. This is a really unique product out there in the industry. It allows you to seamlessly bring these external content sources into the flow of business without moving, copying, duplicating the content from its original source. We have patented smart technology that basically goes out and integrates those in so that you can make them social and mobile, but they remain in their source of truth system. So that's just an exciting piece of technology, and as Arnab just said, now we're adding yet another connector, this time
Exactly.
in Box.
Yes.
Well, we recognize that Salesforce is a very powerful platform. We also understand it's not your only system of record. So we want to provide connections between the engagement and other systems of record.
And you can help you leverage the investments in these other systems from within Salesforce.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. The second thing I want to call out is when you create posts within Lightning Experience, it's possible to go ahead and create posts that not only have text, file attachments, and links, but all three at the same time. So in this particular post, notice that there is a file attached as well as a YouTube link in the post, and that link was picked up automatically, and there's a rich preview for that link showing up over here. With the Spring 16 release, we'll support even more sources, which will get rich link previews, and we have a pretty long-term roadmap here working with our partners to go ahead and deliver more and more rich link previews for sources. File previews are also another place where we've really changed the game in Lightning Experience. So David, in a previous incarnation, worked on the new file preview product. What you're seeing over here is what we call an HTML5 file preview player. So there's no Flash technology being used over here. You can run this on any browser that supports HTML5. And we use a vector-based graphics engine to make sure that the previews look beautiful no matter what the screen size. Another kind of cool trick is if you have a really long slide deck and you need to get to slide 39 out of 40, you can just enter that, and it sort of delay loads that particular slide and sort of renders it immediately.
That's fast and beautiful.
Yep, blow it up,
Amazing.
and
See all the details of coffee.
exactly.
I love to use this to get quickly to the safe harbor statement. That's a big win for me.
Quickly to the safe harbor statement, and if your PowerPoint deck is 50 megabytes and you're on a slow connection, you no longer have to download it. Salesforce is going to allow you to just present that right off your device.
Yeah, we take care of the problem for you, right?
Yep. So let's kind of go back to the particular question that Eric had. So he had a question about discounts that he needs to go and sort of answer. And he actually notices that Ann Weil, who's a product marketing person, has been posting in the Agronomist Experts group and has already posted a pricing workbook for North America and has said that she's working on a discount matrix. So Eric is going to go check out that group. When he clicks into the group, he notices the new group layout, which is, we've got this new customizable banner photo right up on top, and the group details on the right-hand side, which also includes the ability to include rich text. So what he's going to go ahead and do over here is he's going to find Ann's post, and he's going to add another comment and say, @Ann. And what I'm doing over here is I'm intentionally pausing and kind of showing you what we call our new smart @mentions functionality. So in this particular scenario, he needs to @mention Ann Weil because he wants to get back to her and ask her another question that says, looks like you're talking about a discount matrix. I need that because there's a customer asking for it. If you look at the suggested list of responses, there are people like Andrea Becker and Anna Huang who should have shown up, earlier in that particular suggested list if you were just doing this alphabetically. The reason why Anna's showing up right on top is what we have running in the background is an ability to go ahead and figure out who Eric has been engaging with the most within Chatter and use that data to boost up those people in the rankings. This is what we call our smart @mentions feature. This is available across all our user experience platforms. It's not just a Lightning Experience thing. It's available in Salesforce One, the mobile app. It's available in communities. And the reason why this is really critical is we've discovered that when somebody's @mentioned in a comment, they're 5 times more likely to engage in that particular feed post than if they weren't. So we really want to make it friction-free to go ahead and get the right people into the right conversations. I'm going to ask Ann a question and say, could you share the latest discount matrix, have a case I need to get back to with this info.
And I wonder about that 5x statistic. When it's your boss that @mentions you, that go up to about 9 or 10 times more likely to respond.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I'm going to do now is, he's asked this question, and he's kind of waiting for an answer. And Anna's going to get back to him. But he's also kind of the owner and member of this Agronomist Experts group. And one of the things that our admins have asked us for a while has been the ability to go ahead and customize the way a group page looks. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and show you how that can be done in Lightning Experience. I'm going to use what we call the Lightning App Builder to go ahead and accomplish this. The Lightning App Builder is in pilot for the Spring 16 release. Again, if you're interested in using and checking out this functionality, please feel free to reach out to your account team. I believe the Lightning App Builder is available for any DE orgs, but from a Chatter point of view, we are super excited about it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this report chart widget, what we call a Lightning component, and I'm going to drop it onto the right-hand side. And the reason I'm doing this as Eric is I want to get a better sense for what kind of feed posts are happening in the group. So I'm going to look for a report type that says group post by type. I'm going to select that. I'm going to give it a label.
Wow.
And as you see me mistype stuff, that's okay. I'll give it a refresh button. I'm going to hit save. And when I go back to the group, what you'll notice is the group post by type report just shows up right there and then. So no coding required, all drag and drop. I'm just selecting a component, dragging it onto the page, giving it a label, giving it a refresh button, and immediately important sort of information about the group is now just available right on the page. So this is just the tip of the iceberg of what we have on our roadmap. A pilot in Spring 16, lots more to come going forward. Okay, cool. So let's take a look at this. Looks like Anne has actually gotten back to me and said that there's a 10% bulk discount available for this product. And this is something I can actually recommend to Miguel and help him kind of get on his way. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and copy that info. I'm going to go to my cases list. This is all within Lightning Experience. I see there's a new case called Leaf Rust Crisis. I'm going to sort of go into that particular case, and right from within the internal Salesforce Chatter experience in Lightning, I can go ahead and share that with Miguel. And the way I'm going to do that is, you notice that there's a to field in this feed post. I can either leave it available to only the internal org. This would be a scenario where I might be collaborating with people who are on my service team, and I'm sort of sharing personal or sort of internal company information with them. Or I can flip the access to all with access, and when I go ahead and do this, this is going to allow Miguel to go ahead and see that particular discount link right from the cases list in the community that Adrienne had shown. So this is kind of the end of our vignette. What I did over here was I kind of walked you guys through the updates that we've made to the Lightning Experience for Chatter, and showed you how deeply the Lightning Experience is connected to the external community via feeds on cases that allow you to go ahead and post back to the community as well. One final thing before I hand off to Eric, and this is kind of an aside and a bit separated from the flow. I just wanted to show you our broadcast groups feature and give you a little bit of an intro into what that looks like. So this is the same sort of demo environment that we have. There's a group that Eric Ware had created called Capricorn News, which is a news group. And in this particular scenario, what he wanted to do was he wanted to share news updates with internal folks, allow internal folks to comment on those updates, but he didn't want anybody who wasn't a manager or an owner to actually post new posts in this group because he wanted to curate the content. So I'm logged in as Casey, who's a sales agent, and when I go as Casey to the Capricorn News group, I notice that I can get updates from the group owner and managers of the broadcast group, but I cannot create net new posts. Again, this is a huge feature that customers have been asking us for a long time.
Really huge request. Very simple change, but very powerful. A group that's basically only owners and managers can post. Others can comment. Great place for disseminating information.
Awesome. And with that, I'm going to pause, and I'm going to hand it off to Eric, who's going to continue on with the vignette. Or vignette 3, rather.
Vignette 3. Thank you very much, Arnab. My name is Eric Lerner, and I will continue playing the role of Eric Ware. Some of you, just a quick story, some of you who are familiar with Community Cloud, who have viewed some of these webinars in the past, are aware that Eric Ware is sort of our jack of all trades. He's a community manager. He built the community. He works in the support department. He knows everything about coffee and bikes, and anything you need Eric to do, we use Eric. He's sort of our guy. So as you may have noticed, my name is also Eric. It's very disorienting for me because as I walk through the office on a day-to-day basis, I'm constantly hearing, oh, and next Eric's going to, oh, and Eric will do this. And it's very disorienting because I'm thinking, what am I going to do? So suffice it to say, as we were planning for this webinar, I signed up for the role of Eric, if only to keep things from getting any more confusing. I'm going to talk about the Community Management Console. So Eric, the Community Manager, in addition to handling support cases, is also responsible for the health and vitality of the community. So he spends a significant amount of time just keeping tabs on things and making sure that the community members are engaged, that questions aren't going unanswered too long, making sure that there isn't a crisis in the community of any sort. So I'm going to show you his view of the world. And those of you familiar with our cloud know that we have something called Community Management Console, where Eric pretty much lives. Within the context of Community Management Console, as you can see on the slide, I'm going to show a couple features. I'm going to show the Lightning dashboard, which is an exciting new way Lightning is striking Community Cloud. I'm also going to drill in a little bit on topic hierarchy. So earlier we showed you what topic hierarchy looks like in the community. You've got sustainability as your topic, and then in that same header you have the subtopics, economics, methods, and
Policy.
Policy, thank you. And I'm going to show you how Eric actually goes about setting up those navigational subtopics. And I'm going to show you some powerful new moderation things. So with that, let's jump back over to the demo. And I'm going to show you the Community Management Console. This is Lightning Home Dashboard. So because Eric lives in this Community Management Console, he wants to keep his finger on the pulse of the community, so he's named his dashboard the Pulse of the Community. What's new about this dashboard is that it is now delivered in Lightning. So I set it up as I would set up any Salesforce dashboard, and then it's delivered to the Community Manager in Community Management Console in Lightning. So as Eric looks, he sees something interesting here, which is a massive uptick in daily contributors. And you can see I can configure this with any of the things that I care about. So I know probably not quite enough best answers in the community this month. Registrations are looking good, but we could always do better. But the thing that really concerns me or excites me as community manager is that there's a massive amount of unique daily contributors and that's trending up very quickly. So I find myself curious what's going on. And I want to drill down a little further. And very fortunately, I have some pretty powerful tools to do that. So I'm going to come over here to my self-service dashboard. And I can see, again, that trend is playing out. And in particular, there's a really big uptick in questions. So what that's telling me is people are contributing, and in particular, they're asking a lot of questions in the community. That's good. And so I find myself curious as community manager, what are they asking about? And so I'm going to head right here to my insights. And that's going to take us to the next very powerful piece of functionality, which is this date dropdown. So now you have the ability to very quickly filter out things like questions for the last 7 days, last 30 days, or just today. An exciting new breakthrough, and another big thing that we've delivered in this release at the request of our community manager is the ability to support, the ability to sort by any of these. So I can see what the most active threads are based on the number of comments. So as community manager, I look over this list of questions that have been asked via my engagement insights, and I see there's a lot of conversation about leaf rust. So it occurs to me that this is potentially an area of concern or a hot topic within the community. What I would like to do is set up a recommendation so that folks who come to the community interested in leaf rust can actually follow the right topics and become a part of the conversation. So here in my community management console, you can see all of the different categories here along the left-hand side. And in this particular case, I want to go to the one called recommendations. So I have the ability to set up recommendation channels, which is an exciting new piece of functionality in this release. What that means is I want to have a recommendation on the home page that is maybe encouraging people to do certain specific things. Check out groups, check out topics. I want to have a separate carousel with different recommendations that lives on the topics page. People have already checked out topics, and now I want to recommend a few of our most popular topics. As community manager, it used to be that all of the recommendations were automatically generated for me based on smarts in the system. I now have the ability to create my own specific targeted recommendations. In this particular case, I want to encourage people to join the sustainability group because that's where they're talking about leaf rust. And so I want to update that description to say tackle leaf rust. I'm going to go ahead and enable that. And I do have the ability to also customize the image associated with that, customize the text on that button. So I've now created and enabled a recommendation. What I want to do is briefly hop over to the community so you can see what that looks like in the real world. So I'll go ahead and do a preview here. And this is that recommendation carousel. This is the thing that I was just configuring in the Community Management Console. And you can see, here's the recommendation that I created. So as community manager, I have the ability not just to provide those very specific targeted recommendations, but the ability to provide them in the right context with different things on different pages. I'm going to hop back over to Community Management Console because I'm a community manager and that's where I live. We've also introduced a very powerful piece of functionality called audiences. What that really means, for those of you familiar with webmetrics, is the ability to speak to a specific cohort. So people who joined in the second half of 2015 are a specific audience, and I want to target them with a specific recommendation. Well, it turns out it's now 2016, so I want to create a brand new audience. I'm going to call it first half 2016 cohort. And all new members who join in the last, today is the 19th day of the month. So all new members who have joined my community in the last 19 days become a part of that cohort. Now what I have the ability to do is to go into my recommendations, and let's just say I've got a recommendation that speaks to new members, something like update your profile or check out the new users community. I can specifically target that not just at all community members, but at my brand new cohort of new users. So it's a powerful piece of functionality. So not only can you target specific parts of your community with recommendations, you can target specific users based on their tenure here in the community.
This is a great engagement feature.
Yeah. Eric, sorry to jump in, but just in the interest of making sure that our customers get to see everything that we have for them today,
Sure.
just a couple of the high points.
Yes, thank you so much. Always good to have a time check. With that in mind, I'm going to show you one more thing. Suffice to say, I could keep you here for another hour and 15 minutes just in the Community Management Console. I will resist the urge to do that, and I'm going to show you one more thing, which has been a particularly common feature request among our community managers, the ability to block certain file types. So I'm Eric Ware, and I come over here to Administration and Preferences, and here's a list of all of the file types. This is a whitelist, so to speak. All the file types that can be uploaded to the community. Well, Eric Ware, the community manager, reads an article on internet security, and he realizes zip files are a little bit controversial and they may pose some security risk. So what I'm going to do is really quickly hop over to the community. Thank you. And I'm going to show you before our community manager, Eric, was able to block zip files, I could upload a zip file with no problem. All Eric has to do as community manager is remove zip file from that list, .zip, update, and now end users are going to be blocked. With that, I'm going to hand it off to David, and he's going to show you not just how the community is moderated, but how one would actually build a community like this. And you're probably thinking, how is he going to do that with just 15 minutes left in the webinar? And you're going to be blown away by how easy and straightforward it is to build a new page in the community and to build out a community. So that's going to be David's vignette. It's going to take place in the Community Builder. He will also be Eric Ware, much like his two predecessors. And he's going to focus, may as well just stick with the slide while I speak and I'll set him up. He's going to focus on our new page manager functionality. He's going to show you some of the new standard page layouts that we've delivered. He's going to talk about some of the great things we've done to improve search engine optimization. And he's also going to show you how you would go about customizing groups and priorities. And with enough time, Godspeed, he'll show you some other things as well.
Okay, thank you, Eric. So remember we promised that we would show you how this great community was built with clicks and not code, right? So what we're going to look at now is we're going to get to our community builder, right? So our community builder
And
is,
we're in the demo right now.
we're in the demo, yes. Our community builder, thank you, is the equivalent of Lightning App Builder, except you use it to customize your community, whereas Lightning App Builder is used to customize the Lightning experience. And that's what Arnab showed you before. So here I am in the community builder, and you can see we basically have our palette for creating our community. All right, on the left-hand nav, we've got our branding editor, which is not new, but it's still very cool. You can change your color palette, you can change your company logos very easily, all with clicks and not code to get this community looking great. We can easily change the form factor that we're looking at, so you can preview your community in different form factors and make sure it looks good everywhere. Right. Now, this icon here on the left nav is the page editor. In a lot of ways, this is the heart of the community builder. This is where you actually go and choose the pages, and you drag and drop components in order to customize the experience. So for example, here I'm selecting groups, which remember is now new in Spring 16. All right. And so what I could do is just choose, for example, a recommendations component and drag it onto this page. I'm not going to do it because Arnab showed you something very similar earlier where he dragged that report or that graph component onto the group in Lightning experience. I could do the same thing here. Okay. Now, something very important that's new for Spring 2016 is the page manager. Right? This is where I actually see a list of all of the pages that appear in the community, and I can choose which version of that page I want to actually publish. So again, for the group, right, I have 3 different versions right here, and I could choose which one I want to be live at any given moment. The other really important thing about the page manager, which is also new, is this new button, right? This lets me very easily create either a standard page, which is just a web page on which you can put any components you want, or a Salesforce object page. You now have available to you all of the standard and custom objects in your org, including key ones like opportunities, leads, contacts, etc. All right, so this is really another example of how we're tying together the engagement with the business data. All right, so I could easily click here and choose from those objects and create a pre-configured page, which I could then modify to do exactly what I want. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the standard page creation because we're going to do something very cool. So first of all, I see here that we now have 8 really nice layouts to choose from: 1 column, 2 column, 3 column. I'm going to choose a 2-column layout, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create a page dedicated to dealing with this leaf rust situation that we learned about back in our first vignette from Miguel, our grower who was experiencing leaf rust. So this is important enough that I want a dedicated page where users can visit front and center in the community to learn about leaf rust. Right, so I'm going to go ahead and create this page. Right? We've enhanced our search engine optimization, so I could type key phrases in there. Right, and now I'm going to go ahead and edit the page. Right, we're going to see our 2-column layout, and now I'm just going to start dragging and dropping components. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put in this rich text component. Okay, and now I'm going to come here to the rich text editor, and I'm going to paste in the source code for a video. This is a video off YouTube, and look at that, it just shows up, right? In 30 seconds, we have a beautiful start to our page. Okay, next thing, this video is going to teach people how to recognize leaf rust, but now I need them to be able to contact us, okay? I don't have to get a web developer to code a sign-up form. I'm just going to drag this component in, give it a Salesforce quick create action, which should be familiar to all you Salesforce administrators. And here we have a very simple form where people can just sign up. There's deflection here, so they can actually, as they start typing, it'll change the articles so that they can learn about what they're looking for. And then they can submit the case. All right? Now, to make this a little richer, I'm going to use one of our custom components. So you may wonder, where do components come from? Well, there are standard components that we ship. Right? There are components that you build yourself using the developer console, very easy to do. Those are custom components. And then there are custom components that you can get from your partners and from other suppliers on our App Exchange. So I'm going to drag in a blog component, which comes from one of our partners, right? And I'm going to easily change the headline here to "The World Reacts to La Roya." La Roya is the name for leaf rust. It's the name of the disease, right? And then finally, I'm going to come down here and I'm going to drag in the compact feed, right? And now I could actually tie this feed to any object I want. In this case, for example, I could tie it to the plant health topic. All right, I would put the topic ID in here. I'm not going to do that, but it would show you the feed for that topic, which has to do with plant health. And right now, it's trending with leaf rust. Okay. Now you can see here that I pulled that feed from a bucket called feed. So this is something else that's new in our page manager and our page editor. The components are all nicely bucketed, so you can easily find the ones that you want. Right. Now I'm going to go ahead and publish this. Okay. One last step, the piece de resistance. All right, I'm going to click on the nav bar here. New for Spring 16 as well is an improved nav bar. All right, so I'm easily going to add a menu item, and I'm going to call it Leaf Rust 2016. I'm going to point it to a community page, the one I just created. I'm going to publish those changes. All right, click Publish once more, just for good measure. And now I'm going to switch to a different browser where we have Miguel. And Miguel is logged in. All right, so I'm going to refresh the page. And just like that, front and center, he sees the leaf rust topic. Excuse me, leaf rust tab.
This is amazing. Just in 5 minutes, you can see how powerful the community builder is. You can just create a page with all those great assets on the page without a single line of code.
Exactly, Adrian. Look at this. And so he can play the video, he can learn about leaf rust, and then he can type in, I have rust, need help, right? Description, rust. All right, he submits that. Okay, and now finally we come back to Eric, right? And we're going to go to the service console. And I'm going to change to a filter I created called Rust Signups. And that filter is designed to catch a flag on the cases that were created from that page that I just created. And here is the case that he just created. And so just like that.
Yeah, I think this again highlights how deeply the Community Cloud is integrated with the Salesforce platform.
Yes.
Right. I mean, you can go ahead and create this custom page in Community Builder, and when the case signups come through, it's deeply integrated with Service Console. And like nobody else can do that.
Exactly.
And just to up-level a bit, above the technical jargon, what that means is Capricorn as a company, Capricorn's customers or farmers, suddenly there's a very tight and direct connection. So the customer, the farmer can very quickly contact the company can be responsive to their needs. In this competitive business environment, that responsiveness is vital.
And this is a real working business use case that I just created here while you watched in 5 minutes. And that's really, what our customers said to us, and we responded. They said, we need an environment that's beautiful, that's responsive, that's easy to set up, that ties together engagement with intelligence with the business information, and that's all on one platform. And that's why we're all really passionate about this product.
Excellent. And speaking of what our customers are saying, we have many customers who are sort of sitting there, have been sitting very patiently watching everything we've been showing. I think we owe it to them to give them a chance to voice their questions before we tie things up.
Absolutely.
We know Ruben's there. What else do we have?
Well, we're going to do some rapid fire, so you guys need to be on point because I want to get some of these questions out here because they're pouring in. Lots of shout outs. We love that, but let's get to the questions. Files. So I'm going to give you a couple of questions on files. People are asking about the individual size limit of a specific file. They're also asking what's the do those files count against their org storage? And how do videos display the same way pictures, do PowerPoints display the same way pictures do when you're attaching files? So go.
So yeah, I can take that. So our maximum file size limit is 2 gigabytes within Salesforce, and that applies to both the internal Lightning experience as well as to communities products. If files are uploaded from a community, those do count against your organization's pooled storage. An organization gets 2 gigabytes of storage quota per paid license, and that's pooled across the entire organization. There may be ways to go ahead and purchase more. For that kind of information, the customer
Contact
can
your
just,
account executive.
can contact the account exec. What was the last? Videos.
They wanted to know how videos, PowerPoint, Word
Right.
documents, other things display, because you showed these great pictures.
Awesome. So images, of course, we have previews for them. For all the Office file formats like Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, we generate previews for them and we render them within the context of Salesforce. For video formats, we do not preview them within Salesforce. They're available for download. If you're viewing that particular community on a mobile device, typically the mobile device has support for most video formats like natively. So when you download it, it'll just play. But in a standard web browser, we do not play videos inline. Of course, go ahead.
One other important thing to briefly call out about that file size limit, something I didn't show you in Community Management Console, which we've just introduced, is the ability to limit file upload size. So in case I'm
That
concerned.
is really, really important. So put an exclamation point around that, you guys, because you're
Yeah.
going to want to take a look at that. I don't know of a community manager that wouldn't do that. Okay, so that was questions about files. So let's do a rapid fire a little bit. This whole case thing was very interesting. So Harold is asking how many rules can be set up in a community to trigger the creation of cases. Can you have multiple rules, and what's the limit?
You can have multiple rules, and there's various ways of building them. So the easiest way is with a relatively new product called the Process Builder, which is a visual engine. You just drag and drop, flowcharts onto the screen, and you can add rules that way. In fact, that actually was how that rule was built. There are also other methods. There are flows, which is a more code-based rules engine, and there are standard Salesforce triggers.
So each of those have their own limits, so that you would need to investigate that.
Yep.
And if you don't know about Process Builder, go check it out on Trailhead, because it's amazing on
Yes.
Trailhead.
And stay tuned for our presentation on the App Cloud.
And Mike, I'm going to keep on going until you tell me I have to be quiet. I love this question. Does a user get suggested articles from the knowledge base before posting a question? Should we leave that to the Service Cloud people when they do?
No, we can
No, we
take
can talk
that.
about
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, when you looked at the community demo that we had, there's a call to action across the top of that page, which is a big search box. So as you type any text within the search box, we recommend articles as well as discussions automatically as the user types. So there's deflection built into that. So as you go into the community, it's very easy for you to find existing content and get deflected to it and not generate a new question or a new case. Only when you can't find your answer via those means, then you can obviously go ahead and ask the question.
So
So
that's
just-
good news to Paul. Christian is asking, in the Service Cloud view that was just shown, so we have to think back, and there was a scrolling notice when a case was open or created. He was interested in how that was created. Can you just direct him at where to go for that?
I think that would have to be a Service Cloud question.
Okay, alrighty. Are the group limits applicable to communities, or do customers get a separate pool per community? How many groups can you create in it?
Yeah, so it is pooled per org, so the communities do count. But we just increased the number of groups that you can have per org significantly. So we went from 1,000 to 10,000, I believe. So I really don't think you're going to run out of groups. We also increased the number of groups that one person can be a member of from 100 to 300.
Oh, that's awesome. So
Yeah.
Cody, that was for you. Now I have a personal question, because I'm always talking about Chatter licenses, specifically Chatter free licenses as well as the Chatter only licenses. You mentioned that that you can use your Chatter only licenses. Now, what about Chatter free?
Chatter
in or out?
Free and Chatter External are also, those licenses can also get access to the Lightning experience starting Spring 16.
Okay, so that's really important. And if you don't know what Chatter Free is and you don't realize how many licenses you have out there, you need to go under your company setup menu and take a look, because you can extend Chatter enormously within your company. All right, go ahead.
So I just want to add one more thing. There were a couple of questions about limits. So please do, if you have special needs for your organization, contact your account executive. If you're worried about limits, you want to find out what they are, or you need something higher than what's out there.
And if you do hit that 10,000 group limit, let us know, because we'd love to do a case study on you and buy you dinner.
Yes, exactly.
Well, and that brings up, how do you stay connected with us? So please use the release readiness and feature adoption community on the success community. That's where you can make suggestions, also the ideas. If you have questions, use the community. If you have suggestions, use ideas. They look at the ideas. They're all nodding their head there. So make sure you do that. I'm going to give one shout out from Kevin. I love what he said. System of engagement plus system of record equals happy customer. Love that. I think we need to do
Great.
little
Yeah.
icons
To hear that.
there. That's a big thumbs up. I did have some interesting questions that we're going to pursue based upon if I'm using social media like Facebook or Instagram, how do I mash that up with the community? But I think that those are longer conversations. We do have a no question left behind policy. I'm going to make sure these guys get mentioned on your Twitter questions and on your community questions so that we can get answers to you. And Mike, that was my rapid fire. I hope I did okay.
You did a great job, Sam, and thank you for adding that note on happy customers, because speaking of keeping our customers happy, let's end things on time. So thank you to the product team, but that is about all we had to share with you on today's session on the Community Cloud. Now be sure to be back here at 11:45 Pacific, because we will get started with our second session on the Service Cloud today. But again, if you've missed any of our content Spring 16 related, you can find everything in both long form and bite-sized clips at www.salesforce.com/release readiness. On behalf of all of Salesforce, I'm Mike Torres. We wish you the best and success.